Well, I think if we go back to the first phone call that a client makes and the initial appointment with the designer, really, if we look at the concept plans, we can have them sort of 6 to 8 weeks.
Absolutely.
Costed. There may be iteration, so it might push out to 3 months. But once we've got the plans right and the pricing right for the clients, and we sign the order of engagement, then we go into contracts admin.
Yep. And we're only talking about a month before you sign a contract.
For you.
You may have to wait for us to start because, of course, we only have certain site start numbers per month. So
that's right.
Let's say you're starting within a prescribed period. It might be January, it might be March, it might be September. Whenever you are allocated that start is when you're going to start.
So when do we tell a client when the start's going to be?
That's
what
a good
stage?
question. It's quite early. I mean, I would say that when the designer's meeting with them very early for the concepts, it's going to be one of the questions on many clients' lips is, when can I start? And they'll say our next available start might be March, whenever that might be, and they'll work towards that. Naturally, the longer the design takes, that availability might close, but it's good for them to know as we go when our next available starts are, because then we can comfortably predict when our finish is, and that's all the while they're computing in their mind how much their overheads are going to be. Are they going to be able to stay in that house? Are they going to need to rent? And naturally they're going to be weighing up their options because they're going to be contemplating, should I sell this house and buy a bigger house, which we know costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to get additional accommodation in bedrooms? Statistically, should I knock down, rebuild? Or should I extend this house? And many clients come to us to extend because they love their neighbourhood, and that's going to be really hard to replicate. But the knockdown rebuild option is going to probably take considerably longer, and we know they're going to move out. So there's a considerable extra component of cost in that alone.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think the other thing with when we're in contract stage, the joker in the pack is town planning.
True.
Or other sort of planning, because the building surveyors won't sign off if there's a town planning requirement.
That's true.
And that can take
It can take months. I suppose I'd like to think we're experts in that field too, though. I mean, we do a lot of extensions. We've done many extensions over 50 years. And we know, generally speaking, what planning is going to be involved and advise people what the likelihood is as far as timeframes for get those approvals through.
Yeah.
We would probably deal with planning on, I would say, almost half the jobs we build.
Yes, that is very true. And the actual build times, Matt, what are we talking about?
Oh, look, we'll contract the typical job for around about 7 months, and at the moment our build time is between 5 and 6, so that's a little bit up our sleeve. We're building ahead of contract time well and truly in a lot of cases at the moment, which is great. But it does go back to that control and not the overcommitment at the start. So design a home that's easy to build or controllable to build, use our regular trades, don't overcommit, perform on site, and so focus not just on when you're going to start, but what's the end outcome. It might take a little bit longer to start, but when we build quick. Rather than, I think a lot of builders just have a giant funnel, everything goes in the top, and it comes out when it comes out, and it takes however long it takes. That's not us. We give a lot more certainty to that. As you say, if a client's got to move out, friends, family, rent, that's important. You need to know what you're up for.